Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you all for joining us. Hi, Melinda, Plain and Simple. Hi, Mickelson Family
Oh,
Homestead.
hi. I'm Melinda.
Oh, hey, Melinda. So that's your name is Melinda.
Oh, no, that's Melinda Plain and Simple is my friend.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Thank you for coming in, Melinda. Nice to meet you.
Tammy, I just posted a link for our guest. Would you be able to pin it from where you are?
Sure. I think. Hold on.
Yep.
Let me see.
I'll say hello to people if you'd like.
Awesome. So today we've got the Organized Pineapple on our show, and her channel. I'm going to do a brief introduction, and then I'll let you introduce yourself as well. But her channel really focuses on organizational techniques, just all kinds of ways that you can get everything in your world organized. She has stuffs on your car preparedness, and things like this, for the house, for the vehicle, even like business documents. And recently, how she even, I saw your video using the 2-liter bottles for storage of dry goods, which I thought was awesome because a lot of our followers try to maintain preparedness in some fashion, especially with the cost of things, buying things when you can get a good deal and storing them for later, or just flat out prepping. So I just find so much value in watching your channel. And when I'll watch it, it really motivates me so that I think
Thank
most
you
people that
so
watch.
much. That's good to hear.
Yes. So I think most people that know I also work full time. So when I get off of work, I work from home. When I get off of work, I'll go and like clean or organize something. And I have found it very valuable, and I feel like it's helping me to achieve my goals because
Oh, that's so great.
the clutter can get in the way. Our life clutter can get in the way of us.
I'm so happy I reached one person.
I'm sure you've reached a lot.
Just kidding.
So real quick, just to do some shout outs and say hi to folks in the chat. Hey, Gail and Blue Farm, Vanessa, Moments with Vanessa. Good to see you guys. And hi there, Miss Southern Belle. Thank you all for joining us.
And I'm trying to post links as I can because we try to keep this quick and dirty, as we like to say.
So, pineapple, as you know, on this channel and on our live and on lease when it's on. So we have our live on this channel this week. Next week we're on lease over at Yogi Hollow Farms. And as you know, we talk about goal setting and our goals for 2022. The last time Lisa and I met, we were talking about where we're at with our goals. We just finished the first quarter of the year. So here we are.
Right.
Only got time, all of it. If you've got gardening goals, guys, you're like running tight to the wire on the gardening goals for sure. But would you like to take a minute to introduce yourself, and then I'd love to hear about your goals that you have too.
Okay, just the goals for the 7 F's.
Well, your goals for you. And you can just talk about your goals, but the 7 F's really help us keep in mind the other things that are important. So when I think of like my gardening goals, I'm thinking that's a family thing. I'm doing that for my family. When I'm thinking about my goals for, spending less, saving more, that's obviously finance. As far as reading the Bible and studying, that's going to be my faith. So it just looking at those helps us keep balanced. That's the whole purpose of the 7 F's, is to stay on top of things, but maintain balance amongst the different important areas. But you could just talk about your goals in general. You don't have to reference them.
Okay.
They're going to fit anyway.
Hi, I'm a stay-at-home mom to 3 little kids. One of them is home with me, and the other 2 are at school. So I'm just working round the clock, basically, as a, as a stay-at-home mom. But that's just the stage that I'm in right now, and I try to adapt to the different stages because it is always changing, and that's part of being organized, is just being able to adapt and try new things. We're in Texas, in the US, and I don't know, I just started this channel as just a hobby for myself, and I never really expected anybody to really watch. I mean, I was super happy when I had like 10 people that weren't my family that were watching. So
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah.
We had 70 and I went, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'm
There's
like, who
70
are these?
people.
I'm like, who are these weirdos that want to watch me like clean stuff?
My
Hey, kill
name's
it and
Tammy.
Yeah. But okay, so for faith, the first F, I'm happy with my current faith status. I mean, I could stand to read the Bible more, of course, but I am really active in our church, and we go to church every Sunday, and I'm content in my walk, I guess.
Yep.
For family, we have kind of a unique situation. We're not around any extended family, so I don't have family obligations in the mix, like extended family obligations. So that part is easier for me. And we do stuff together, me and my husband and the kids on the weekends. And it wasn't always that way. I used to have to stay home on Saturdays and just clean and try to catch up because we were so behind. But we have been doing minimalism for about 4 years. So now it's so amazing that on Saturday, instead of watching my family go and have a good time, I can go with them and do stuff because I'm not tied to the house. I'm not tied to taking care of a bunch of stuff that I don't even want, you know? So that's been just a game changer for me.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit for folks who may not know what minimalism is?
Sure. Just, I think it does mean different things to different people. I mean, you think of minimalism and you think of like white walls and like succulents and, you know, stuff like that. But it's really just not having a bunch of extra stuff around and learning to live with less stuff and prioritizing what's important. Like, we have so much excess here in America. Like, do we really need houses, just huge houses stuffed with crap? Like, no. So I have been decluttering. I mean, it's a constant process. I'm still decluttering and figuring stuff out. And I find that it's the little things that hold me up, like in my routines. So if I'm going to write something down and I can't find a pen that works, and there's just like this whole mess of pens, and it's just super frustrating. Like, let's start there. Let's just clean that little area. Let's just clean one little area like that at a time so that everything eventually starts running more smoothly.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. I think my only thing, like I think about homesteading and I think about our channel, right? And where the minimalism I struggle with is for homesteading, you save every scrap you have to be able to build something later.
Yep.
Right? So you don't
Very
have to spend.
Yes,
right?
exactly. My take on that is I don't want to say I'm a prepper because that just has like a bad connotation, you know, or like a weird thing, but I do like to be prepared. But for saving and stuff like that, I want to prioritize what I want to save and get all this other stuff out of the way to make room for the more important stuff. So I think you can still be a homesteader and save stuff, but save, you know, important stuff and not have a bunch of other stuff that you're not going to use lying around, if that makes sense.
Totally makes sense, because all of the stuff that I was talking about us saving, because we call them stores on the property, is that it's outside my house. You know what I mean? Like, we have it neatly piled somewhere, and we have this stuff that we can go to. It's not in my way, so I don't care. In my house, I'd like everything to be gone.
Yeah. Yep. Just a minute to say hello to a couple people. Hi, Nikki St. Laurent, Kentucky Patriot Prepper. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Sugar in the Attic. Moments with Vanessa. I think I said hi to you already. Thank you all for coming in. And Blue Self-Reliance. Good to see you. And hi there, Kill It and Grill It in Nebraska. Good to see you guys.
Hog Deer 79 is here as well. That is Gail Silver.
Oh, I just saw him in the Belinda and Chuck's live a little while ago.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
I hate that I missed that live. It's very early for me.
Yeah, Chuck really cracks me up. He's really funny.
I love Chuck.
Hey, our friend Bruce, Guitar Man's here. Good to see you, Bruce. Yeah, I agree. And Lisa, we're the same way. We try to keep things that we can use on the property, in the garden, for fencing, whatever. It is nice to have those extra things around, but we have a place for them. I can't see not keeping those things. I think what'll tend to clutter me up, or at least from looking back at the past, what I have cluttered myself up with is maybe, my craft items, which I have a she shed now, so it's all out there.
I used to be a big crafter, and I would save things like, oh, I'll do this when I have time, and I would love to do that later. And it just turned into like this big whole closet full of stuff, and it was kind of stressful because there was like all these projects that were looming. And if I did have time, did I really want to spend it on that? And as the years went by, I realized kind of, no, I didn't. And so once I got rid of that, I could use that space for something else. And it was just such a relief to not have that stuff hanging over my head. I mean, it sounds silly, but stuff can be stressful.
Yes. Well, and I would end up with it because there would be a sale. See, so something goes on sale. I'm like, oh,
I used to be a big shopper too, and I would bring stuff home, and then there would be nowhere to put it because there was already something there. So that's part of it was changing my habits to not going to those stores and stuff like that. So,
yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's face it, anytime or most times we go to the store, it is wants, not needs.
Yes. And differentiating between the two.
Yep.
That's what I really had to do. I quit buying the things that were on sale for the crafts and things that I like to do, and kind of told myself, nope, I need to use what I have first. Like, I need to use what I have first. And I started doing that. I discovered, like, I still haven't used everything I have. I don't need anything else.
Right.
Really.
It's very hard. It's very hard to change your habits. And if you're used to going and buying something new every time you're going to do something, it's hard to break that cycle.
Yep. Yeah.
Agreed.
So true.
Hey, Teresa Ellis.
Hey, Teresa Ellis.
And the Vineyard Chicks are here. I'm so glad they're here.
Yes. Hey, girl.
They are an awesome bunch of ladies.
Amazing.
I'm finding so many new fun channels.
Well, the Vineyard Chicks, it's 3 girls, 3 sisters, and they are incredible. I'm betting they're all geniuses and they just aren't telling people. And I'm not even making a joke about that. Like, I remember when I was in college being with some homeschooled kids that were like 16 years old sitting next to me, working on their engineering degree. And so I know they're out there. And that's what these 3 remind me of.
KK, Trey, and Bunky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so they're all musicians. They garden. And Trey does, she does like graphic design. She's really good at that. But they each have the Vineyard Chicks, and then they've each got their own channels too. So
And
they're just amazing.
I'll
and
have to check that out.
at some point, we're going to have them on the channel because they are amazing.
Yeah. We want to hear how they keep their world organized. And I know they get help from their parents in keeping everything balanced, but they're getting it done. It's just super impressive. And I homeschooled my kids. So I love the whole homeschooling idea. And you can get so far. Well, I'm sure if I were to say, you wouldn't believe how much time is wasted in the classroom. Really just letting other kids catch up, going on recess, just all of the little things in a regular classroom. There's a lot of time. I mean, we call it wasted. Maybe it's socialization. That's important too. But I'm just saying you can get a lot done when you're homeschooling your kids. The kids can get so much exposure to so many different things.
So
That's
guys,
what I went to. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm going to post a link for the Vineyard Chicks. I want you guys to go check them out. They're awesome.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you, Lisa.
No problem.
I was going to say I did go to school to be a teacher, and I just taught for 1 year though before I got married.
Did you? Yes. I thought about being a teacher too, and I just ended up doing something else. But that was one of my ideas.
It's hard, yeah. I like more of the behind the scenes I figured out of teaching, like getting everything set up and bulletin boards and planning versus actually implementing things.
Yeah. So tell me, with your goals that you have for this year, what kind of, I see your organization for your house, your organization on all kinds of things. How do you organize your goals? What are some tools that you use to keep those organized?
Well, a few years ago, I realized I was doing the same stuff basically over and over again. So I kept track of it. And so now I have like a monthly calendar of things that I can do each month. And that keeps me really organized. And it's just a list of everything, like when to do my taxes, when to start doing that, when to plant a garden, when to have the bug man come and spray, just like everything, all in one big list. And then each day I do make a to-do list for that day, but I try not to make it too long for myself. Just like if I have like 10 things I have to do, I'm only focusing on like 3 main things, so it's not that overwhelming for me.
And I've seen some of your videos where you have like the 4 or 5 things I want to do in April, for example, was one of them. How do you go about selecting those things? And I'm just, hey, Chris and Larry Homestead, some of our neighbors there. I'm just thinking, like, when I think about the volume of things that I want to do, because I'm very project oriented. And so I'll have tons of things I want to do. And I have to kind of reel it in sometimes. And Lisa calls me out on that too. And just tell myself, okay, this is what I'm going to do this week. This is what I'm going to do today. But how do you kind of funnel through all of the things that you want to do and get them organized in selecting what you're going to do for what time? Is there a thought process you go through?
I do have my yearly to-dos, which are like the same every year, and then my daily to-dos. But also I do have like a project list that like projects that we want to do eventually. Like right now we're redoing our fireplace and I prioritize those. So that's at the top of the list if we have time. But I rarely have new projects because there's just so much on the list. I don't want to add more stuff to it unless it's something really important.
Makes sense.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Almost like when you're talking about things you want to do, you keep ideas separate from the most important.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. I do. I have lots of ideas, but it's just, is this really feasible right now? Maybe not. We'll keep it on the list, but let's get these other things done that are more important.
Hi there, Lenora Wood, and hey, Nicole Smith Gardening. Good to see you guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming in, everybody. And yeah, no problem. I've been trying to post links at least once on folks.
Thank you, Lisa.
No problem.
I think we were on finance. My husband is a lot better at finances than me, so I just let him handle it. That's not my strength, but I do try to find good deals on stuff and, you know, keep it reined in. So
have you been thinking about trying like any ways of cutting costs, or you know, because what we make is what we make sometimes. I mean, for most of us, we're on, you know, a flat number of hours a week that generates our income, flat income that we get monthly in some fashion, or salary or something like that. So increasing income isn't necessarily always an option. It really comes down to decreasing what we spend. Is there any ways that you guys have been working on doing?
My husband has started scrapping. So
nice.
He got a trailer, and every time we go anywhere, he's picking up washing machines and copper and all sorts of stuff. So that's been generating a little bit more for us. And also, I found that I always was in the same, like I always bought the same brands of things. I always shopped at the same place. And now with these price increases, I mean, I can't even buy milk at Walmart anymore. It's so expensive. So I switched certain items to Aldi where it's a little bit cheaper. And I just got stuck with Walmart delivery because it's so convenient. It's so much easier. But then it's like the prices now. So I've switched up to, okay, we're going to go to Aldi, you know, once a week just to get these other extra things that we can't afford to get at Walmart anymore. So just looking at what, even like the brand of pasta that you always buy that you're used to, like I try to switch it up and actually look at the price and see what it is, because it makes a big difference.
It really does. And I have to say, for me, one of the best things that has come out of this whole nonsense of the past 2 years is the order online and pickup. And I'll tell you why it's worked for us. I am an hour away from a Walmart. I am an hour away from anything that is cheap. My local grocery store, I can't afford to shop in because we're in a tourist area. So a half gallon, a half and a half has been $8.29 for months now. That's how expensive, right? And I have friends in Texas and all that. They're not paying that. So we do that. And I'll tell you what's really helped is it eliminates the impulse buying. So
it does.
We don't buy any meat at all. We haven't bought meat from a grocery store in over a year because we have our own here. So it's been really cool because we order online, we get exactly what we want. And I literally pick it up, come back home. Like I will not get anything else while I'm there. But it's really cool because it's been really helpful. And the other thing is we don't have an Aldi's near us. We don't even have an Aldi's in the town an hour away. So what I'll do is I'll often go to like a Dollar General or a Dollar Tree and buy their pasta and stuff like that. And it's been really beneficial.
I do find that it curbs the impulse buying, and it saves so much time too. I mean, I was doing like half a day grocery shopping, lugging the kids there and lugging them back and everything. And now it's just, I just wheel it inside because I leave the wagon out there and they put it in the wagon.
real quick. Hey, Charles, Arkansas Fallen Veterans. Good to see you, and thank you for coming in. And hi there, Van City Prepper. Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
We've been buying in bulk from Sam's Club. And you kind of got to watch because you don't necessarily get good deals on everything, but that saves so much. And then we have plenty for, our front cupboard, and then plenty for our back storage for our preps. So I do love buying in bulk from Sam's Club. We hunt and we purchase like a half a cow from a friend of ours. So meat wise, as far as like beef goes, but we're still buying chicken and pork. And that's something that we're trying to work on and figure out how it's not going to mess up my husband's camping and travel plans.
Well,
I used to have, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I used to have Costco membership, but we stopped doing that in 2020, and I haven't returned to it. But my neighbor, she goes to Costco sometimes, and she'll ask me if I need anything. So I just can do stuff that way.
Yeah, what we found, there's only two of us. I mean, you have a young family, and that is a whole other ball game. So
I know they won't stop eating. They won't stop eating.
Yeah, they won't stop eating. Trust me. Wait till they're teenagers. Oh my gosh. But the coolest thing is that, or the thing I wanted to point out, I should say, is we did the same, Tammy. We were going to Sam's Club thinking bulk, right? Because we wanted to prep. We wanted to have the pantries full. We found that Sam's was a lot more expensive than Walmart.
Oh,
Trust
no
me,
kidding.
I hate to say that. I hate to say it. Trust me, because I'm all about convenience because it's the two of us. And I'm like Pineapple said, was the time is precious to me. And I'm already spending 2 hours to go to another town to get what I need and then pick up my stuff. For me, like I know we can say Amazon Prime is expensive. We can knock all these big companies, and that's fine. But you know what? I have it delivered to my door, and I don't need to go anywhere.
Oh, I do.
Can I just tell you? Can I just tell you? I shipped somebody. I'm trying to think of how to say this so I don't get in trouble. I shipped somebody eggs for a special diet.
Got it.
Guess how much it cost me for an overnight package for UPS?
$100.
Tammy, you got a guess?
I got a guess.
Yeah.
Was it like $50?
$144 plus tax.
You are kidding me. Holy smokes.
Now, I'm not complaining because
Are they still saying they can't guarantee it overnight? Because I sent my mom some medicine overnight one time, and it was supposed to get there, and then they said, "Oh, we can't. It's the pandemic. We can't guarantee that it's going to be overnight."
Well, this was UPS, and the only reason why I paid that price is because the person is very valuable to me and has been amazing and deserves it, and I wanted to do something nice for them. But I have to admit, I almost choked after they went through the whole process and then told me the price, and I was like, ugh.
Oh, how awful. I do get free
Did you still do it? Did you still do it for that much?
I did because the person is valuable to me. I won't do it again, but I did it for the person.
Yeah.
Because all the information and help that they have given me was way more than that. The person has been helping me with pigs. So, and I don't have a vet out here who will see a pig. So that's why that's valuable to me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to offer them something, but I mean, the prices are just insane. You know what I mean? And so I try to think of when, we were talking about Sam's Club versus Walmart and all that stuff. I don't know how the local folks in my town actually are able to buy anything or support themselves. Because if you think about it, it costs money to go so far and all that.
I think it's just going to get worse. It's just going to get worse. Like, I think inflation like we've never seen. And it's scary.
It will. When we go into town, Lisa, so I get Sam's Club delivered, but you're right about some of their prices. And I think best advice to everybody in the chat, and what's kind of the takeaway from what we're all talking about with this, is that there are some items you're almost needing to go to different stores, provided you're not driving a terribly long way and wasting a lot of time getting there, to get different items, because some of the prices at Sam's Club are definitely cheaper compared to where we can get them from anywhere else. Because even our Walmart is more expensive here, Lisa. It's nuts. But when we're in town, we even get gas. We drive 45 minutes to fill up our tank. Because you know what? It might sound stupid, but guys, we're talking a 50 cents per gallon difference. We're paying gas at like $5.49 here locally where we are, because it's a vacation town, versus $4.99, and it's for diesel. We use diesel, versus $4.99 a gallon when we go to the bigger city that's 45 minutes away. So it's like, it is, we go there, we try to do all of our business in one run, and then get gas while we're there too.
Oh yeah.
That's on
refill.
Yes.
I used to go to, Rapid City is where I'm talking about. And I used to go to Rapid City because that's where I worked, and I'm not commuting anymore. But here's the thing. I used to deliver eggs and tell them I'd come once a week and deliver eggs. I have not contacted anybody because, quite honestly, I'm not driving there for a dozen eggs. It's not worth it. But before, what I used to do was I used to consolidate my trips. So that way, if I go there, I'm getting feed, I'm going to Walmart, or I'm stopping here, I'm stopping there. And it's like, that's all I do is go from place to place to place, and get gas and then come home. So it's like an all day affair.
Yep.
But I'm like Chris and Larry Homestead. I don't leave the house unless I need to.
I'm very much a homebody too. So it was the only thing that was different in the pandemic was that the kids were now all home too.
Oh yeah.
Here's a question for you. And Sugar in the Attic Homestead has it right. Grow as much as you can. How does
She's been helping me with my garden.
So tell me, I'm thinking, like, with all of the ways that you organize, I feel like I've gotten a pretty good preview of your brain and how you think. And I'm betting in some fashion, I work with people that will tend to think like how I believe you're thinking, and you're married to an engineer. So, because engineers kind of think like that sometimes too, but everybody's got their own version, right? So tell me how organization, how that hits your garden, and what you're doing. I'd like to just hear your take on maybe like what you're growing, how you organize.
I'm not an expert gardener. We used to live in California, and anything can grow there, like tomatoes the size of volleyballs and like huge trees.
Right?
But here it's like everything is such a struggle, and the bugs and the crazy weather. And I had a garden in the ground, and that for many years just never worked out, and I would give up on it. But last year and this year I've been doing the container gardening. So I'm brand new at it, but I've gotten lots of salads. I just started with easy stuff. I mean, I want to know my limits, Yep. So I just have easy stuff going, and it's going good so far. I'm afraid for the summer when it's like 110 degrees, everything's gonna just fry, but we'll see.
Yep. And Vineyard Chicks, that's a good point. I have the same problem here with our produce that we buy. It doesn't last very long at all. So growing it is definitely better. And I love all the things that you're growing. What were you going to say, Lisa?
I was going to say, I can't remember the last time I bought fresh produce aside from my bulk order. We have a service called, I don't want to say like it's like Misfit Market, because it's not necessarily Misfits, but It is called Black Hills Bulk, and you order online, you pay for it, and then you pick it up at the pickup spot. And what's really cool is they have a produce box, and they have a regular produce box and an organic produce box. So you buy the produce box, and I think it's $25 now, but you get whatever is in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so if they have a run on cucumbers, you get a ton of cucumbers and zucchini and all that kind of stuff. And they do it all year round, which is really cool. But what I wanted to say was, I'm going to go grab a book that I recently bought because I really want to promote this book. I am not affiliated with them at all, but I saw somebody posted on Instagram and my impulse buy. So I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds like a good book. I'm anxious to see that. And I love this, that people are growing. They don't have to go to the store. There is nothing better than getting fresh vegetables out of your garden. I grew, last year, one of the things that I grew was spaghetti squash, because I was thinking that's like support to your pasta. And that's how I look at it, because the ways that I use spaghetti squash are very much the ways that I use my pasta. So it's like it stretches your pasta, plus it's better for you. But eating from the garden's awesome. All right, Lisa, where's that book?
Okay, so I saw, like I said, somebody put this on Instagram. I am not affiliated, but I have just received it yesterday, and it's cheap. So this is why I share it with you. Oh, hang on a minute. I got to turn my screen setting off.
Hey, Simply Jan Homestead. Thank you for coming in. Good to see you.
A year without the grocery store. Oh.
Step-by-step guide to acquiring, organizing, and cooking food storage by Karen.
That does look really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, we're talking, look, not a lot to read. But I mean, I just thought, because we have a dehydrator, we have a freeze dryer, we're growing our garden, we're raising our own meat. We've got about 30 meat birds in the brooder right now.
Awesome.
Getting ready to go outside. I've got turkeys behind me in the incubator, because poultry is an easy way to raise your own meat. But you know, you said you weren't an expert gardener. You don't have to be. I am not either. I have never been a lover of the outdoor garden. Don't hate me now. It's just I've never done well at it. I've done it, but I do better with hydroponics indoors. So, you know, and growing here is brutal.
It's been fun. It's been a great learning experience, and I wish I could grow more. And I expanded my 1 container garden to now 3. So,
hey, wherever you are, you can grow.
Yes,
that's the thing. So don't ever look down on it because you only have 1 container or 3 containers. The bottom line is you're doing it.
Yep.
And that's the thing. So just make sure you're growing stuff, whether it's herbs and all that stuff, you know?
Yep. And just to say that, like when you say you're not an experienced gardener. Oh, and hey, Ark Wildman Survival, thank you so much for coming in. Every year, and I always call myself like, you know, I'm still a fairly new gardener is what I say. The truth is I've been gardening for, probably 20 years. But you know why I say that? Because every year it's a different experience. I'm on my 3rd gardening year here in zone 6B in the high desert. High desert gardening is totally different than the gardening that I did when I lived in the valley, like outside of the Phoenix area. We had about 1.25 acres on what used to be farmland. We had the best, most amazing dirt. And like you were talking about earlier, pineapple, with how growing was in California for you. That was like how it was for us. I could grow anything. And every year I always try to grow different things. And so, you know, every year, regardless whether you're an experienced gardener or not, every year is a new year. Every year you could have new insect problems. Every year you're trying new plants. If you're, you know, like most people want to try different things. Every year is something different. So we're always all together learning. And it's so much fun. So yeah, that in mind.
For some reason, my channel has attracted a lot of homesteaders and people like that. And I am not a homesteader at all. So, but you guys are just the nicest people. And I've just gotten to know some really, really nice people and fun channels. So it's just been really interesting.
The homesteading community will smother you with love and information like none other. And I adore them because, like I said, we had raised 2 meat pigs, and now we have, which were commercial hogs, and now we have cooney pigs that we're breeding. And, you know, I can't find a vet here to take care of my animals. Isn't that crazy? So
Yeah.
I'm on my own. There's my bad bulldog. I'm on my own. And it's like the homesteading community has been the ones who have helped us.
Yep. We have a wonderful community. I'm so happy. I just love this community, and was so surprised to meet everybody here. I never thought that I was I have friends that are like family to me, that I've met here on YouTube. And I think that's just awesome.
I'm trying to post the
Hi,
link to
Pathways
the book.
Homestead. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I'm trying to post the link,
Vineyard Farm.
and apparently it's too long. So, Tammy, I will text it to you, and you can put it in the description box down below when you're done.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you.
Although digging for health, Andrea already got it.
Hey, digging for health.
Yeah, it's a year without the grocery store. Karen Morris.
Mm-hmm.
Karen with a
that's
K.
where we're all shooting for. Heck, that's where most of our money goes, is on food.
Yeah. I think the next one was fitness. Is that what it was? I've been having some health struggles lately, but when I get back at it, I was running half a mile a day. Right now, I try to walk a half mile a day, but doesn't always happen. We're having the pollinating right now. So yeah. I don't like to be outside wheezing. So, I don't know. I'm pretty active with just housework and the kids and stuff like that. So I don't really necessarily have any fitness goals, just I guess to keep going.
Well, you're amongst a good crew here. You know what I consider being a part of fitness too, though, just to share. So I try to get my steps in, guys, and I don't try hard enough. I will be honest about that. But I try to make sure I drink enough water, and I'm trying to make sure that we eat enough fruits and vegetables. And, you know, yes, here's mine. Oh, and I got to share this. Everything in life has to have balance. Isn't that an awesome saying?
I love it.
It has my name on it too. I used to I always preach to people about this, like that I work with and whatnot. And one of my coworkers had this made for me, which I thought was awesome.
That's really nice.
Yeah. But, you know, it's those things too. So when we think of fitness, it's not like, I don't know if you've heard this, maybe some people have, you cannot out exercise a bad diet. That's what they say. That's people that are like into this. Wow. They're like, you can't out exercise a bad diet. Don't think like, you know, maybe you have your cheat day, and we're not talking about a cheat day.
That's true.
But
last summer, I was just feeling really bad, and I just had a rash all over, and I was 25 pounds heavier, and I just felt really bad. And I thought I was eating right. I thought I was exercising, but it turns out that I was having problems with dairy. So once I cut that out of my diet, in 2 weeks, I lost 25 pounds. Like 80% of my brain fog was completely gone. And I've been able to be like this for almost a year now. So it really is what you eat. And I always tell everyone, like, dairy is poison, like everywhere I go.
Wow. Well, it can be because we're all like different, unique biological organisms. Stuff can affect us differently. And I've heard of people who couldn't tolerate dairy, but they had to have like raw milk. They had to have unpasteurized milk.
Like
And that,
A1 and A2.
mm-hmm. And
there's a hormone, casein or casein, I don't know, that I can't do, but that butter that comes from Ireland, the Kerrygold butter, I can have that because it's from Ireland cows. So it's just really interesting.
yeah. Spring Meadow Farm and Garden. Hello there. And hi, Rebecca Davis, Touched by Yarn. Thank you both so much for coming in. We had a question that came up earlier too. And hold on, let's see. We were on
the color coding.
Yes, in regards to color coding and whether or not you color code.
I don't think I do. I don't think I do color coding. I tried to implement that, but I just felt it was a lot to keep track of for me, and to try to always buy like the same color thing for a certain kid or something. I just couldn't really do it. Mm-hmm. But it is, if it works for you, definitely do it. You have to do what works for you.
Yep.
Agreed.
The only time I color code is if I'm making like charts, graphs, or like on my calendar for work. I don't have color coded stickers or anything like that from my house. Yeah. It's more a place for everything and everything in its place. Well, that's the goal. The goal anyway.
In a perfect world.
In a perfect world.
Part of the realization that I've had with minimalism is that there's not really a need to organize a bunch of stuff as in detail as there was before, because now it's just like, there's not, like if I open a drawer, it's like 4 spatulas versus like 18, there's not really.
Funny how those gadgets can get you, huh?
Yeah, that's why we don't have like everybody's got an air fryer and something else and something else.
Well,
like we don't have all those.
I have 2 air fryers, but that's just because I did the air fryer, the collab with Mennonite Farmhouse and Prepper Potpourri in February. And Prepper Potpourri had said everyone uses the like box air fryer, the toaster oven style. But I thought it would be really unique to show both types of air fryers, like the basket style and the toaster oven style. So that kind of was my take on the collab. So
you're an overachiever.
That's why I have 2.
Hey, Nordic Drip Coaching.
Hey there.
So how about your, looks like the next fun and future are next 2.
Well, my definition of fun has definitely changed over the years from having kids. Like little things are fun to me now, like watching a TV show that I want to watch that isn't a cartoon, like that's fun to me. Or just driving somewhere by myself, like listening to my own music without anybody like this in your ear. So that's just little things are fun to me now. So
100% the truth. And you know what? I've spoken to this on a previous 7Fs live, but even my husband and I each wrote down our goals as they applied to the 7Fs, right? Like, so we each wrote down goals for each one of these. And I found that some of my fun things were in his family things. Like, so sometimes our fun, it's super important, and don't downplay it. Like that time, that the fun time that is resulting in family fun is super important and valuable. And just want to like remind everybody of that. It was camping. To me, that's fun. To my husband, that is a family event that needs to occur. And when I say family, I'm talking me and him. Like, he doesn't care. Like, I don't just mean it with the other kids. All our grown kids and grandkids are coming. I'm talking about the two of us. It's very important to him. So just
Well,
recognize.
that's great. You
Yeah,
complement each other.
yeah, and recognizing, like, what your fun is versus what your spouse's
Yeah,
fun is super important too, for us to all, be happy.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then future, just I don't know, just keep continuing on my minimalism journey and decluttering, learning to live with less in different aspects of my life. And one of my weird goals, but maybe it's your guys' goal too, is to have a year of food at home is one of my goals. So working on that. I haven't gotten very far because these kids keep eating, but
That's awesome though. I just heard that gosh, I don't recall where I heard this, so I can't share any like sources or references, but I imagine you could dig and check me on this, but I heard that most countries as a country only have food to last for about 3 months. And that's most countries. And I heard China has like a year and a half worth of food stored up for their people. And we think about what's coming in, from external
Right.
countries versus what our own country has, what is stored. And I heard that most households don't even have a month. Like most, probably not any
yeah,
here. I'm sure
and
all
a lot of
more than that,
a
but
lot of people that I know are, working professionals. They work outside the home and they just eat out for every meal. They
mhm.
eat at the hospital cafeteria, they go out to dinner. And when we had that big Texas freeze, they had nothing at home, like nothing at all. It's like, I don't know. We mostly just eat at home. I mean, as a family of five, it costs like $50 or more for one meal to go out. So we
Oh my,
definitely
I gotta tell
can't
us.
do that. So,
So we,
or more now if it's a restaurant and not
yeah,
fast food.
yeah. So we bought KFC for ourselves and family, and we did it as a special occasion thing. We don't eat out very often either, just because there's no fast food. We're going to drive 20 minutes to go to That's not fast food. Fast food come
Yeah,
out of our
that's
freezer.
what mine is.
That's what we call
It's
freezers.
about 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It is.
Did I take something out to defrost today?
Yes, but you all, I'm not kidding you. We got like the bucket of bone-in original recipe chicken, and we got a thing of boneless. And you guys, it was like $84 and some change.
What?
And I was like,
That's crazy.
I'm like, we love our family. We're doing this, but we won't be shopping at KFC for a while. This is
Yep.
nuts.
You work one whole day for one meal.
That was with a locals discount. We even got a locals discount. Okay. If we didn't, without the locals discount, it was going to be $93. Like, between the window where we placed the order and she said $93 up to the window where we, well,
Did you just drive off? Did you just drive
well,
away?
my husband, I'm like, she's done something wrong. I'm $93 for fried chicken. Are you kidding me?
Wow. How can people afford that? Like how
They
Can't.
can't.
They can't. And
that's
as soon as they
crazy.
realize what's happening, everybody that was excited to get this, it's $15 an hour minimum wage here where we're at.
That's
Everybody that's
unbelievable.
excited to get that is going to be without a job. There's just, because look at us, we did it. We were in line. It was for a special occasion. We'll do that, but we're not going to do it again. So they just lost our business. And I'm betting y'all, a dang fish fillet sandwich at McDonald's here in our nearest town is $6.12 for the sandwich only. I'm sorry, it's not
Yeah.
that good. It's
I,
not.
I used to Yeah, I used to get this breakfast sandwich at Panera Bread, and it's like $8 now for one of those wraps, and I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah.
it's not that good. It's not that good
No.
for $8.
Well, that's what I like. We finally gotten to the point where, we are becoming more sustainable in the fact that we don't have to rely on just
That's so
buying,
great.
Yeah.
like meat birds every year. Okay, we bought meat birds, but the turkeys, we have the turkeys, now we have the eggs, they're in the incubator. So we're growing our own meat. The same thing with the pigs. We've got the pigs now that have gotten to the point where they've been bred, and as soon as they birth, if all goes well, we'll be selling some piglets, and then hopefully
So exciting.
some, so that way we can raise meat as well.
Yep.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. Even now with the, what do you call it, the laying hens. I mean, if push come to shove, we have an incubator. They'd be barnyard mixes, but
Yeah.
if we were hungry.
Hey, one thing I want to mention too, while we're talking about food stores, and we would be like you, Lisa, we would probably end up with mostly meat at the end of the year. But one thing that I'm trying to do this year is, so recently I did a video and shared with everybody what survived the winter here. And I'm trying to grow things that are going to survive with minimal effort from me. And what I mean by that is minimal watering. So drought tolerant plants. We have the drought and we have the really cold temperatures. Not as cold as Lisa, but Lisa, you have a similar environment to mine, but even colder. So we have to have drought tolerant, we have to have cold tolerant, and I'm trying to plant things that are edible that are going to survive that. And Ark Wildman Survival got me to thinking about this because he does a lot of foraging. Knowing what we can forage too that's not in our own garden, because most of the times our own gardens, those are the things we're having to water. We're having to treat them for, any issues that come upon us, like bugs or fungus. I don't know, whatever people have an issue with. But the different kinds of things we have to treat. It's good to have things growing on your property and knowing what's edible, what's medicinal, in case those things run out. That's one thing that I'm trying to do this year, is to plant some things that are going to survive with minimal effort on my part also, as well as building up the garden.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's why, we have the raspberries we planted, and
Yeah, that's awesome.
trying to plant more of that stuff that's going to come back bigger and bigger every year,
Yeah.
because honestly, foraging is not something that I do and I worry about because my knowledge is horrible in it.
Yep.
And I'm going to be on the news as one of those people who eat something I shouldn't.
No, you won't. You'll do your research.
Seriously, that's
acorns with the tannins or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think back to that guy in Alaska, a year in, what the heck was the name of it? It was a movie.
Oh yeah, Into the Wild.
Into the Wild, that'll be, he had knowledge and he had a mistake. I mean, and I think it's great that people can do it. I don't know anything about it.
Knowledge though. Remember, he was like a rich kid who was a lawyer who was trying to get the speedy, real quick 6-month version on how to live on your own out in the woods so that he could do it. And it's not speedy and it's not quick. And you need to just be more careful. And I think he was careful, but at that point, he wasn't aware of his surroundings and he was just starving and was willing to eat anything at that point.
Right.
I also too, I have a really good network. Like we have a great church family and friends around, and I have a friend who has chickens, and so I make her bread and she gives me eggs. Nice. And I have another neighbor who gives me her vegetables and I give her stuff too. So it's just, I really think having a good network too is important, because I don't think we can, I'm not a hardcore like survivalist. So for me, I really need that network, that community.
Mm-hmm. My kids and I do the same thing. They have the chickens, they have the goats. We have the larger garden right now. And
Bye,
we're
Brenda.
talking about getting meat birds and rabbits, but again, it's my husband and I are trying to figure out how it's not going to ruin his plans. Although we met our neighbor who also gardens and also has the preparedness mindset from what we can, it's awesome. And I already offered to him, because he travels frequently for work, I offered to him to water his garden and then said, so will you water my garden? So I think if we could get him on board with that and tell him, hey, we're going to get some meat producing animals, and we might want to take a vacation for like a week. Would you mind coming over like once? Because if we could get him to come over and the kids to come over, it would work. But yeah, the bartering, we need a community around us. The community online here. Hey, Bravestone Hikes. Our community here online, we learn so much from, but it's not like we can, swap eggs for flour or whatever we need to do. And Pathways Homestead, good to see you. But it is good to have your community that's immediately around you. We need each other. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and Bland's Promised Land Ranch is a proponent of that as well. And they did a video that talked about like, I'm trying to think of the right way to say it, but basically they said there was no shortages because if you went to your local farmers, you can get the meat versus going to a grocery store.
I watched that video. Yep, that's what they said.
And that's the reality, right? Because you can buy your meat from a local farmer, and it may take you a little bit more to get it. It may take you a little farther to drive, but you're getting a better quality meat. And then you're having bulk in your freezer and not having to worry about going to the grocery store and getting meat that isn't the same quality.
Yeah.
Like I know for us here in South Dakota, finding processors, I know it's hard everywhere, but literally the same ranchers who have used the same processor every year are now having to go across the state to find processors. So if we wanted to get a local cow now, we have to drive a few hours one way to pick it up from the processor. But it's worth it because it's good stuff. So that's why we're trying to build in where we don't have to buy beef, because that's the one thing we can't raise because we don't have enough land.
Yep. And I love that video that they did, because they were also saying, like, if there's shortages at a store, know the source. So your ranchers, your people that have animals, those are sources. If you establish those relationships now, when it comes a time where there is a major shortage, you're still going to have that source. If that relationship is established, you're going to be on their list of people to provide that to. So you won't feel the impact of the nationwide shortage like some other people would. And I shared their link in the channel. Looks like it looks a little bit different in StreamYard, but hopefully it's coming through for everybody. For Bland's Promised Land Ranch.
And the Vineyard Chicks are saying that they're waiting months to get in. We gave up waiting. And now that we have the tractor, we will be able to butcher pigs ourselves, because honestly, I don't know what happened. It was like the sky opened up and things aligned and we were able to find a processor. Now we're not going to be able to find one. We were on a waiting list for over a year near us, and they still haven't called us. you know, there's no finding one. So we've decided we're going to have to take it ourselves.
Hey, my grandma would always tell me that, like, the grocery store, there didn't used to be big grocery stores. There never was like there is today. And I mean, do you guys think we're going to go back to not having big grocery stores and having to do like more of the homestead thing? Is that going to come back around again?
I think so. I mean, if you look at Walmart, they're closing underproducing stores, you know, and they're going to go online, and that makes sense. Think about it. I mean, getting stuff online is brutal, right? But it's excellent because, like we were talking about earlier, order and get it and go. I mean, why pay for the overhead?
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yep.
I mean, we could talk about that forever because there's a lot of issues involved in that, but
Yeah. And hey, Lisa, so for processing, have you guys been watching a lot of videos on YouTube? I know that's what we did before we processed our own deer.
we the only thing that we've had processed before that we didn't do ourselves was the 2 pigs because they were 600 pounds
Oh my
loaded in the
goodness.
trailer.
Yeah.
And when we were done, we came home with over 400 pounds of pork. But we have a butchering book that is old school and really good, and Ryan knows how to butcher animals, so that's how we know how to do it. Sometimes he just looks through the book for a refresher because it's been years since he's done it. But we process our own chickens, we'll process our own turkeys. The pigs will be something big that we will process on our own. That'll be a first for me. But like I said, Ryan did it years ago.
That's a good book.
Oh, it's excellent.
Yeah.
I can give you the name of it. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but Living Traditions had suggested it. And I bought it for Ryan, and it was an excellent book because it just tells you all that. But there's a lot of different ones out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I mean,
we look up that other book that you shared later. That one, yeah.
A Year Without the Grocery Store for anybody who's new to the
Karen
chat.
Morris, Karen. Amazon.
And hey there, Little House in the Big Woods.
Yes, kill it and grill it. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. We have the tractor now, which makes it easier because we're able to hang it, so to speak.
Hey, Uncle Al.
Hey, Uncle Al.
Does anybody have any questions for the organized pineapple?
While we're waiting, thank you very much for coming on today. It's been great.
Thank you for inviting me. This is my first live, so thank you.
Oh, you've done awesome.
Yay.
Happy that we're your first live. I think that staying organized is really important to achieving our goals because sometimes the clutter around can clutter our minds and really inhibit our motivation to get things done. And I just think organization is super important. And it's something I'm always struggling with. I'm
I'm so glad I've motivated you to clean up some stuff and get organized.
And I have plenty to go, but your channel is one of those channels I go to when I want to, get a move on and get that motivation because it does that. It gives me new ideas too about what I can do with things. And
if there's anything that you want to see or me to talk about, just let me know and I can do a video on it because I'm always looking for ideas.
Yep.
Gear Gryden, come on now.
Cindy's place. Hey, Gear Gryden.
He said, we'll get the organized pineapple into trouble.
Oh, no.
He's so funny. Well, we are at the top of the hour. It's actually 11:08, so I guess we should wrap everything up. Any last minute questions? And just a reminder, next week on Tuesday, same time, 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, we're going to be on Lisa's channel. So hope you all will join us over there. And thank you, Organized Pineapple, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Wonderful to chat with you. And I hope everybody goes and checks out the Organized Pineapple's channel to get some great organizational tips, even from everything to your preps, to your house, to your paperwork. She does a little bit of all of it on there. I find it valuable myself. I think y'all will like it too. So you guys have a great rest of your week. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye everyone.